Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Cho Show. We are live, we are in color, and we are going to have a very fun live stream tonight. Um, because I just feel like I'm in a very I'm in a calm mood, but I'm feeling very um just happy and satisfied. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a really good workflow these days. And so I'm just really excited to be sharing a lot of content. I'm excited for the format. I'm just really excited for what's to come the next several weeks in terms of my content as I am continuing to tinker around with things. Um, So today, we've got three stories that we're going to talk about. We got three stories that we're going to talk about. Um, we're going to watch one kind of a longer video. It's about 12 minutes long. We're going to watch it together. We're going to give our commentary, etc. And then, and it's the title story about Starbucks. And then we're going to talk about some cancel culture. And then we're going to finish off with a little bit of Iran war type of situation. So we got three stories to cover tonight. But as always, we're going to start off every live stream with a reading from the Daily Stoic, one of my favorite books. So let's get into the Daily Stoic for March 24th. The title for today is There is Philosophy in Everything. There is philosophy in everything. So let's read it. Let's go. There's philosophy in everything. Eat like a human being. Drink like a human being. Dress up, marry, have children, get politically active, suffer abuse, bear with a headstrong brother, father, son, neighbor, or companion. Show us these things so we can see that you truly have learned from the philosophers. Epictetus Discourses. Plutarch, a Greek biographer as well as an admirer of the Stoics, didn't begin his study of the greats of Roman literature until later in life. But, as he recounts in his biography of Demosthenes, he was surprised at how quickly it all came to him. He wrote, "It wasn't so much that the words brought me into a full understanding of events as that, somehow, I had a personal experience of the events that allowed me to follow closely the meaning of the words." This is what Epictetus means about the study of philosophy. Study, yes, but go live your life as well. It's the only way that you'll actually understand what any of it means. And more important, it's only from your actions and choices over time that it will be possible to see whether you took any of the teachings to heart. Be aware of that today when you're going to work, going on a date, deciding whom to vote for, calling your parents in the evening, waving to your neighbor as you walk to your door, tipping the delivery man, saying goodnight to someone you love. All of that is philosophy. All of it is experience that brings meaning to words. I absolutely love this. Um, I like this a lot because when we talk about philosophy, sometimes it is this study or it is this subject material that's far removed from your daily life. But as this passage shows and as it proves, philosophy is in everything. There is philosophy in everything. Let me read this part again. This is what Epictetus means about the study of philosophy. Study, yes, but go live your life as well. It's the only way that you'll actually understand what any of it means. And more important, it's only from your actions and choices over time that it will be possible to see whether you took any of the teachings to heart. I think that's just so true. You know, you think about some people who claim to be such big philosophers and they're this, they're that. But at the end of the day, it's like, are they actually living out those choices that they've taught themselves? Are they really living the life that they claim to believe they should be living? It's just really interesting. Hey DJ, how's it going? So that is the passage for today. I really, really like the passage. It's a good reminder that philosophy is in everything that we do, from greeting your neighbor to calling your mom on the phone. It's a great thing. It's good. So let's get into tonight's story. As a reminder, everything I'm using tonight is going to be fair use. YouTube, do not shut down my live stream because I'm going to be reacting, commenting, transforming, reviewing, criticizing, and I'm reporting the news, honey. Okay. Also, please do your own research. Okay. I'm not the bearer of every factoid. You know, I don't always get it right 100% of the time. I'd say 99.9% of the time. But there is the occasion I might get something wrong. So please go do your own research. Okay. Today we are talking about Starbucks, one of my favorite coffee shops. Future sponsor of the show, Starbucks. Yeah, we're talking about Starbucks today, and we have a video by a YouTube channel called Don't Walk Run Productions. And I found this video to be really interesting. I watched about half of it, and it was really, really good. And I thought, oh my God, Cho, how about you just react to the rest of it? So that's what we're gonna do today. Not Starbucks. Yeah, we're talking about Starbucks today because Starbucks is going through this this situation where they want to unionize now. You know, and I'll give you my opinion on unions. I'll give you my opinion on unions on the front end of this video, to give you some context of where my biases lie. Despite being a conservative-leaning libertarian, I'm actually pro-unions. I think that when I say I'm pro-unions, what I mean to say is that if your corporation has done such a bad PR and marketing job at giving your employees an incentive to join a union, then you deserve a union for your company. That's just kind of, I don't know. Like, I think unions are typically bad for companies. Typically bad. However, I'm not blaming the employees for unionizing. I'm blaming the corporation, because it's the corporation's job to give their employees an incentive to not unionize, right? So I don't know. It's like, if a union exists at all for a particular industry, I think that's indicative of the free market and the people in charge not doing what the fuck they need to be doing. That's just me. This is going to be nuanced. Yes, it is. It's going to be very nuanced. So let's watch this video about Starbucks. Let's blow it up. And again, before we get into it, Don't Walk Run Productions. You'll find the link to his channel in the description box below. So please go give him support and tell him that Cho watched this video. Okay? Let's get into it.
A worker-led union affiliated with the SEIU. Back in November 2025, the union went on strike during one of Starbucks' most heavily trafficked days, Red Cup Day.
Starbucks workers across the country are saying no contract, no coffee. The union announcing strikes at stores in at least 45 cities. That includes New York, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Portland. And they're doing
I can tell you right now, I remember these strikes because they were happening in Columbus, and the girlies were going buck wild on the streets of Columbus, Ohio. They were going buck wild because I run past. Listen, I don't go to Starbucks. Um, I go to Starbucks like once a month. Okay, I do go to Starbucks, but I hate Starbucks. Like I really don't like Starbucks. I go to Starbucks once a month because it's really the only place off of the highway that's convenient when I need something to drink. Do you know what I mean? I also need the gas station. It's just really convenient. So, but when I in my day-to-day life, when I'm just, prowling around Columbus, I don't fuck with Starbucks like that. I don't ever go to Starbucks intentionally. I'm like, and my friends know, don't even fucking invite me to Starbucks. I don't want to go. So, anyway, so yeah, I remember running past the Starbucks on High Street near campus, near OSU, Ohio State University's campus. And everybody that had a septum piercing and blue hair and purple hair was out there waving signs and doing this and doing that. And I was like, what is going on? They had megaphones, and it was a lot to take in. But I was running 6 miles. I didn't have the time to really investigate. Anyway, yes, let's keep going.
Doing it also on a big day, Red Cup Day. That's one of Starbucks' busiest and biggest sales events
Well, that's
of the
the
year
point.
when customers line up for that free holiday cup.
Workers here say they specifically chose this day to strike because they know it'll hurt corporate.
And
Yeah.
the workers are protesting what they call union busting tactics by Starbucks. This location here on Silver Lake Road in St. Anthony is one of
What is? Are they gonna? So, it's been a while since I've watched this video, but are they gonna explain what the union busting tactics are? And why is there a Palestinian flag being waved at a Starbucks union rally?
the locations on strike. They are closed.
What?
The Palestinian flag just says so much. Anyway, More Perfect Union made a video that attempted to boost Starbucks Workers United and all over Starbucks. But inadvertently, they ended up doing the opposite.
Starbucks now charges $1 extra for matcha and an extra 80 cents of flavored syrup. Tastes like price gouging.
I don't think that Cassie Wilson understands what price gouging means. Charging an extra 80 cents for syrup because you voluntarily asked for syrup in your luxury coffee is just called paying for things.
This is so crazy to me that people are complaining about this when there are cheaper alternatives than Starbucks. Remember, Starbucks is a luxury brand. This is a luxury brand. Also, I just want to talk about this in terms of, in general, I have like kind of a controversial opinion when it comes to the price of things in the service industry as it relates to food. First of all, the ability to go out and have somebody else prepare you food in and of itself is a goddamn luxury. Okay? I don't know how or why we got it into our head ever that type of service is supposed to be cheap. Back in the day, we had slaves, right? We had slaves that would like literally prepare you food. These are modern day slaves, right? That you're paying for, well, they're not slaves, but you're paying for them. Why do you expect it to be cheap? Like the whole idea of fast food being cheap, why is that cheap? It's a luxury, right? So I don't really, when people bitch about restaurants being expensive and, coffee shops being expensive, but go make that shit yourself. It's a luxury. And luxury isn't supposed to be cheap. Rant over.
Fiddle around in the Starbucks app, you can build quite an expensive coffee.
First of all, venti. So first off, you don't need a fucking venti. See, here's the problem I have with a lot of you people. A lot of you people are just, maybe you're part of the body positivity movement. I don't know. But it's like, why are you ordering a venti 24 fluid ounce Frappuccino? What? Never have I ever ordered a venti Frappuccino. And then she's going to complain about how expensive it is. Just watch.
Coffee if you get a little outrageous with the additions.
Whipped cream, caramel drizzle, 3 shots of espresso, 6 pumps of Frappuccino coffee base, 4 scoops of powder, 2 types of toppings, and 9 pumps of syrup. That's not a coffee order. That's a chemistry experiment designed to give an elephant a heart attack.
And she said she went a little crazy. She went a little crazy. That's going a little crazy. That is psychopathic. Like, this order is crazy. Double blended 3 shots, 4 pumps dolce cinnamon syrup, 4 scoops vanilla bean powder, 1 pump chai, 1 pump classic syrup, 4 scoops frappuccino chips, 6 pumps frappuccino roast, cinnamon powder, pecan cream cold foam, 4 pumps pecan syrup, pecan crunch topping, caramel crunch topping, caramel drizzle, whipped cream, and half the shit they're giving you for free, by the way. So this is just like ridiculous.
But $15 is pretty cheap for a DIY diabetes kit, I guess.
So instead of having a name for a Frappuccino with every flavor, you now have to pick like a base Frappuccino and then pay 80 cents to add a flavor.
It's called a la carte, genius. Or as Starbucks calls it, how much more can we squeeze out of you before you realize you're drinking liquid candy? But why is this person trying to force their coworkers to have to memorize 50 plus names of drinks?
You go and you pay $7 for a coffee and you sit down in a crowded area and then you have to wait like 45 minutes for it.
First of all, if you're waiting 45 minutes for a drink,
That's a problem.
you're no longer a customer. You're a hostage with a caffeine addiction. But here's the part of the video that more perfect union left out.
Can't say I'm necessarily boycotting Starbucks myself because I don't go to Starbucks. I live in Oregon. We go to Dutch Bros here.
So if
Dutch Bros. I don't know what Dutch Bros is.
she doesn't go to Starbucks, then why should we give any credence to her opinion? I mean, and I should point out the Dutch Brothers doesn't have an interior to sit. It's drive-through only, which means that it's an entirely different experience than Starbucks.
Here's how corporate greed backfired and took down an iconic company, and how workers, not an ultra-rich CEO, can save it.
Sure, okay. Let's take a look at the labor union that's gonna save Starbucks.
Oh no, not the furries. Not the furries. We've talked about furries on this channel before. I don't know about that. Interesting.
Do you know that queer rights are labor rights?
What?
As queer and trans workers, we are fighting for access to gender-affirming healthcare. We're fighting for...
What? What does Starbucks have to do with trans rights? And what... I don't want this video to be monopolized by the trans situation, but what trans rights are people fighting for? I'm still somewhat unclear about that, because as far as I know, trans people still have the right to get gender affirming care. Where has that right been taken away? And don't say children, because children should not be getting gender affirming care at all. Let's keep going.
Stable scheduling and a living wage. And these are the types of things that are going to make queer and trans people's lives materially better in the world that we're living in right now.
Okay, I think that everyone, regardless of their gender identity, deserves stable scheduling. That's fine. But why would
The septum piercing is crazy to me.
it be Starbucks' responsibility to give their partners access to gender-affirming health care? Expecting your employer to foot the bill for highly specialized elective medical care because you know how to press the frappe button? It's a wild escalation of the employer-employee relationship. Another issue that the Starbucks Workers Union has with the company
Well, I've ranted
is the
about
new
this,
uniform
the dress
policy,
code.
which More Perfect Union calls
A draconian change in dress code.
yes, wearing a clean black shirt and green apron is excessively harsh and severe.
I don't understand this. Like, yeah, I get that people want to express themselves. They want to like wear the septum piercings. They want to have purple, pink, rainbow colored hair. You know, they want to have all the different pins showing, you know, all the virtues. They want to have their BLM pin. They want to have their rainbow pin. They want to have their trans flag pin. They want to have their Ukrainian flag pin. They want to have their Palestinian flag. They got to have all the pins. They want to have all the pins. But what they don't understand is that that's not what customers really care about, right? They don't care about that. Pardon me. So even call this draconian is pretty diabolical. There's nothing excessively cruel, harsh, and severe about wearing a black outfit with a green apron. I don't think anything's excessively cruel, harsh, or severe about any of that.
Next thing you know, Starbucks is going to mandate that you actually show up on time. Damn you, Donald Trump!
Thing that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves.
Because it's a job. You're being paid to represent Starbucks, not yourself. If you want to express your inner truth, start a Tumblr. If you want a paycheck, on the other hand, put on the green apron, grab a Sharpie, and go spell someone's name wrong on a paper cup.
This is not a legal action that Starbucks is taking by unilaterally deciding what the dress code is going to be.
The Starbucks...
What? I do not understand that. What do they mean it's illegal for a company to have a dress code? And see, here's the problem I have with the unions. Here is the problem I have with unions. They want to write the rules for a company they don't fucking own. And this kind of harkens back to, I guess, my thoughts about communism and socialism and, you know, because they're adjacent. They are adjacent. Not the same, but they're adjacent. But I feel like everything they try to do in terms of unions is to halt production. It's like they want to just be given things. And I don't think they understand the means of production, how it works, and the realities of business. I don't think they understand that 1 + 1 = 2, and that if you want to have money, you're going to have to -1, and then you're going to have to gain 3. Like, they don't understand the basics of, like, how to make money and what that translates to in terms of running a business. And so they focus on things like dress code, which is, like, so dumb to me. Like, what are we talking about here? You don't want to wear a black outfit with a green apron, and now you are striking? What? It's illegal, draconian, the drama.
Workers Union claims that corporate violated labor law by deciding what the new uniform should be without speaking to the union about it ahead of time. I mean, the sheer audacity of a company deciding what its own employees should wear inside its own stores while paying them with its own money. Truly a human rights violation on par with the Geneva Convention.
Their changes that they made recently have definitely made it worse.
You're not supposed to have more than 10 drinks that haven't been served to customers in the time that they're ordered. My store regularly goes up to 30 or 40.
Wait, if the drinks are already made and they're just sitting there waiting to be picked up, how is that corporate's fault? You're literally complaining that you made the drinks too fast for the people who ordered them. But sure, let's blame the company for the fact that your customers treat the pickup counter like a long-term storage facility.
But with all the focus on maximizing sales, the actual product they were selling began to suffer.
This is a venti, okay? This is the only drink up to this line, maybe like right here where the ice is. This is the only drink in the whole entire thing. More than half is foam. Tastes like.
However,
I want to stop, and I know that I've already apologized about this in a previous video. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's where I apologize for my ice video. I ranted about ice and how much I hate ice. I made an apology video about that anti-ice video. But here's another example of why I choose to not get iced drinks at coffee shops, because you're not really getting a lot of the product. You're watering the product down because half of your fucking cup is ice. And here we go.
More perfect union was cherry picking again.
But giving a drink when Starbucks is so expensive as it is, but like I think it's worth it. I love it. Like get it every single day. But this is I saw it and I was like, I don't even want to say anything because I feel bad. Like I can't say anything because I feel like that's mean. Like I know I'm paying for it. I just can't. Okay, I can't say anything.
So More Perfect Union's editing implied that it was corporate's fault that her drink tasted like when in reality it was a worker that screwed it up.
Right.
You know, the workers who are gonna save the company.
By the way, if I can't say right now, what type of mug is he drinking from? He's drinking from an Ember mug. You can tell because of the bottom. Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom. You can tell he has great taste. Excellent taste. I need to subscribe to his channel because just from that, drinking from an Ember mug, he's got great taste. We see each other. Like, he's impeccable taste. Smart man with a smart mug. That's this guy, Andrew.
And that video was from February 2025. Did that experience prevent Darcy McQueen, an influencer with 2.2 million followers on TikTok, from going to Starbucks ever again? No. No.
As someone who gets Starbucks twice a day, I think it's only right that we try the Starbucks in Tokyo, Japan. In 2021, the company declared that pickup-only stores were the future.
Yes, because COVID.
This
Starbucks
is terrible.
didn't attempt to pivot to pickup only just to ruin your life. They did it because the government essentially made hanging out indoors illegal.
The idea of the third place was dead.
The definition of a third place or a third space is a social environment outside of home and work where people gather regularly to connect, socialize, and relax. A key characteristic of a third space is that individuals are...
This is really interesting, by the way. I think this is actually very important to have community spaces. That might sound a little bit hooky, liberal, progressive, mishmash, gobbledygook to you, but I do think it's really important to have that third space. Unfortunately, because of COVID and the actually draconian democratic socialist policies of that era, they were shutting down community spaces, quite literally shutting down community spaces that are essential to a healthy, vibrant society.
Are free to come and go as they please without obligation. But at Starbucks, third place basically became a free office space slash homeless shelter.
There were some controversies involving people who got kicked out of stores for lingering too long.
Not people. See, not people. These are homeless people. Homeless people were being kicked out, not people. Homeless people, or as they like to say, the unhoused. The unhoused. Those were the people that were being kicked out.
People who had the police called because they were trying to use the restroom. And that was kind of the beginning of a new era in which Starbucks was a little bit
not
more
a new
hostile
era
to the customer.
Hostile to the customer. Here's a quick economics lesson. If you're sitting there for 6 hours using the Wi-Fi and toilet without actually purchasing anything,
you're not a fucking customer.
You're not a customer. You're a squatter.
They've stopped offering free water.
More Perfect Union expects Starbucks to operate like a public utility. Imagine being so entitled that you walk into a business and demand free water and then afterwards complain that they made you pay money. Oh, the humanity.
Our union is a godsend to this company. That is has been in crisis, is losing customers.
It's been a year since Brian Nickel has joined Starbucks, and frankly, nothing has changed for the better.
Well, technically, that's wrong. After a year and a half of negative sales growth, it looks like the train has stopped
pretty
bleeding
intense stuff here.
And saw 4% growth year over year in the first quarter of 2026. And revenue for the quarter hit $7.28 billion, the highest in the company's history.
These people don't live in the real world like we do. These people.
So what that says to me, just if you look at those graphs really quickly, if you scroll back and look at those graphs, what that tells me is that the new CEO is actually breathing life back into Starbucks by trying to go back and harken back to some of those earlier initiatives and earlier, I guess, cultural norms for the company of Starbucks. I think he's trying to harken back to what Starbucks used to be, and what that means is like, yeah, rip out your fucking goddamn septum piercings and put an actual legitimate uniform on that's consistent, looks clean, looks nice, that's recognizable, and serve your fucking frappuccinos, right? So I think it's working. Only time will tell whether this new CEO will continue to take Starbucks into a positive direction, because they've been on the downward spiral financially for a very long time. So it's, we'll see. We're almost done with the video, and we'll open up to comments.
But I got good news. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
So after several months, the Starbucks union ended their strike. But what did it accomplish? And at what cost?
The Starbucks on University Way will close its doors next month. The announcement comes just weeks after the end of a 3-month strike at that location. The shop's last day will be April 5th. A manager at the University Way shop said,
Out of a fucking job is what that ended up doing. Out of a fucking job.
that the strike ended because workers couldn't afford to continue without pay.
Yep, turns out that holding your own workplace hostage for 3 or 4 months isn't the brilliant negotiation tactic that the union promised it would be. And these workers in Seattle, they successfully boycotted their own jobs right out of existence.
Yeah.
Employees say
Congratulations.
they were not given a specific reason for the closure, and that Starbucks told the location workers that they would not be able to transfer to different locations.
Girl, so I have never understood the idea of striking, because, spoiler alert, but like, if you're willing to strike, you might as well just get a new fucking job, right? And the shock and awe of these employees that they would not go to work for 3 months, continue to not get paid, continue to suffer, and then all of a sudden they close the store and they're shocked and surprised. Well, why'd you close the fucking store? Well, because it's not making any money because no one's working. What do you mean, why did we close the store's not profitable. The store isn't profitable, so we have to close the store. Because you're choosing to strike and not work. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's wild, y'all. This is wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. And then the audacity of them to even assume that they could transfer to another Starbucks location. No, bitch, you don't want to work. You hate this company, right? You haven't worked for 3 months. Now you want to work? Get the fuck off. Go brush up your resume and go get another job. Go work for Dutch Bros.
Yes, we just spent 3 months standing on a sidewalk screaming at customers through a megaphone, and we forced the store to close, but why won't Starbucks allow us to transfer to another location? Truly one of the great unsolved mysteries of our time.
And instead of negotiating, Starbucks just unilaterally decided to shut down over 400 stores, including 59 union shops that were said to be underperforming.
Well, maybe those
they were.
union shops wouldn't be underperforming if the union members were more interested in working than constantly staging walkouts.
This is a message for Starbucks CEO Brian Nichols.
It's crazy.
We want you to get your coffee. We aren't stopping this for no reason.
Don't cross the picket line, hey! Don't cross the picket line! Don't cross the picket line, hey! Don't cross the picket line!
But according to Starbucks Workers United,
crazy
union
Looney
shenanigans couldn't
Tunes.
possibly be the reason the store is unprofitable.
Here we have this like incredibly motivated group of 12,000 plus workers who are saying like, we know exactly what it's going to take to make this company work, to improve
No, you
the
don't.
experience for the workers, to improve the
No, you
experience
don't.
for customers. which ultimately should make the shareholders happy.
You don't exactly maximize the stock's
We
value by
don't.
turning every store into a co-op where employees vote on whether or not they feel like working the lunch rush. But sure, let's ask the people who think having to wear a uniform is a human rights violation about how they would run a multi-billion-dollar global
It's ridiculous.
corporation.
No contract, no coffee. No contract, no coffee. No contract, no coffee.
Anyway, that's it for now. Head on over to my super cool merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.
Wow. Guys, I don't even know what to say. I feel like that is ridiculous. Again, I support unions and the existence of unions, but I don't think that unions have a net positive benefit to companies or employees in our modern age. I really don't believe that to be the case. I think that there are better ways of lobbying for change in industries, and it's by leaving those fucking industries. I think that's the best change. It's like you force them to adapt by leaving the industry, right? Because at the end of the day, the way capitalism works is that, you know, they want to make profit, right? And when they stop making profit, that's when they are likely to make changes, right? So anyway, that's the story on Starbucks. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and let's talk about our next story. Okay, so let's any comments about the Starbucks story before we get into, I got 2 more stories to cover today. One story and then just a kind of a throwaway comment about Iran. But any comments that we want to get into a little chat back and forth before we can move on to the next topic. Syrup with 1 pump of coffee. Dutch Bros is a coffee shop according to Google. Does that person have an ice cream cone on their head, or are they trying to be a unicorn? I think they believe they are a unicorn, which is part of the problem. The Treasury just declared the U.S. insolvent. No shocker there. Back in the day, strikes and unions began because people were literally dying on the job. Now, unions are money makers and keep employees who shouldn't have jobs. Agreed. The commies don't work on actual logic. They think a strike is them bargaining with their boss. Thanks to the labor theory of value, they think they own the company because they made a cup of coffee. Fucking ridiculous. That's what happens when everyone gets a trophy. Unions are good for industry that are needed and in demand, like healthcare, the trades. Cho, you're giving these worthless wastes of air too much credit. They don't have any skills other than putting coffee in the pot. I think perhaps that's a skill. Listen, I love baristas. I think baristas are extremely valuable members of a community, especially because, you know, a lot of people that go to coffee shops go there on a very regular basis. I am one of those people that used to frequent lots of different coffee shops, even Starbucks back in the day, back when they were actually fucking good. And I loved my baristas because they were like really pretty, they were very handsome, they were just very attractive. And when I say attractive, I mean like they had really good communication skills. They were kind of flirty, but like, you know, not in an inappropriate way. They know how to talk to people, they know how to get along. Like they were just like everything you want in a barista, right? Personable, can joke with, you know, this air of familiarity. So I think baristas are really valuable, despite what Ryan says. I think that people in, you know, service type jobs like that, where you see repeat customers, they're special. I think that they are special. And I say that as someone that works in customer service, you know, at a restaurant. So I love baristas. I really do. But I agree. I agree with what Ryan said earlier about just because you make a cup of coffee doesn't mean you own the fucking company, right? That's not how this works. I think that they think they're more important than what they are. So I don't think that they're a waste of space, but I also don't think that they're the head, you know, the best thing since sliced bread, right? For industries like the trades and healthcare needed and in demand, it's time to get back to small local businesses. Too much of the monopolies and crony capitalism. Agreed. Green tea, agreed. Now Starbucks is almost the McDonald's of coffee shops. They are. I've said this time and time again. They are 100% the McDonald's of coffee shops because they only prioritize speed and efficiency. They don't prioritize the experience whatsoever. Starbucks used to be a sexy brand. It used to be a luxury brand, right? It used to be something that gave you an air of elitism almost, right? That's not Starbucks anymore. No one's, the rich soccer moms is not meeting at Starbucks to gossip anymore. They're just not doing that. That's not where they're going. They have lost the idea of sex appeal when it comes to a business. And it's sad. It's sad. I don't see the purpose of the strikes at Starbucks because if nothing is being sold, no one gets paid. While in healthcare, striking a hospital or a nursing home goes after the higher ups' bank accounts. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I see the big difference, DPD. By the way, welcome. I think that striking in the healthcare industry is a lot more devastating because you have the health of other individuals in your hands, right? But is there maybe perhaps a conflict of interest there? Because if your purpose is to serve the health of others and you're striking and you know that like your strike is quite literally harming the health of others, is there like how does that feel morally and ethically? Also, just tangentially to that point, I think people in healthcare need to become more comfortable, and not just them, but I think society has to become more comfortable with recognizing that working in healthcare is a job. It is a job. Like, I know that it's supposed to be like this, like, oh, they're so kind, they're so grateful, oh my God, their benevolence knows no bounds, oh my God, they're so generous. But like, at the end of every day, people that are nurses or doctors or health aides or any of that, it's a fucking job. They get paid every 2 weeks like every other son of a bitch on the planet, right? And so there is that side of it too. It's like, listen, I'm here to serve my community and help people, but also I need to be compensated, right? And so I think healthcare professionals that are maybe perhaps in unions, they're reckoning with that reality. So that's really interesting, Oh no, I'm not saying they're a waste of space because they're baristas. They're a waste of space because they're commies. Well, that I can definitely agree with you there. Okay, so let's move on to the next story. Reminder, this is fair use, okay? Fair use. I am critiquing, I am remarking, I am reviewing, I am commenting, okay? And then also reminder that, listen, do your own research, okay? I know 99.9% of all things, but sometimes it might be that 0.01% chance that I don't know something, so don't hold me to the cross, okay? All right. So, the next story we're talking about is actually about this guy named Matsu or Matsu. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maybe it's Matsu, maybe it's Matsu. He's Asian. You never know with the Asians, okay? I like him a lot. I don't know if he likes me because I'm always like kind of digging into him. It's like I either agree with him or I'm fighting with him about something random. But what I will say, the reason I like him so much is because he never gets really emotional about disagreement. So this guy is a Republican influencer, conservative influencer, something to that nature, right? One of the influencer girls. I think he blew up on TikTok. I don't watch TikTok. I'm a millennial. I'm old as dirt, so I don't do TikTok. But really smart guy, really smart, intelligent guy. And again, while I don't agree with him 100% of the time, even when we have disagreements either in our DMs or on his public posts, they're always great dialogue. It's always great dialogue. So I'm a fan of him. Like you guys know, I believe in having more conversations, not less, even with people that you disagree with. So this guy is an influencer, Republican influencer, big Republican type of guy in California, in Fresno, California, to be specific, I think, which I believe is like kind of a red area in California. So I imagine it's probably easier to be conservative until just a couple days ago, right? Because we're talking about cancel culture, unfortunately. Let's watch the video that I was so disheartened to watch and to discover the other day. Let's watch it together.
So I was just informed that a Pilates class I was having at the gay club that's local here has completely canceled the event over my politics. My Pilates has nothing to do with the politics. I've never given any of my personal political opinions at the club or when I'm working, and I have 2 separate accounts specifically for this. People accuse me of being against immigrants, being against trans people, which I've never been. I've even actually argued in favor of trans people being involved in the Republican Party. People even accuse me of being MAGA, and that's not even a label I give myself. So I think it's incredibly funny that the people who don't know anything about me, but assume the worst about me based on a label they put on me, is trying to ruin my livelihood. And it's even more hilarious because when I look back, I think about a year ago, this club was having an issue where a dancer that they have on there was known to be physically abusive with his ex, allegedly, and they still allowed him to perform. So I'm very confused about the moral consistency here. But because I don't vote exactly like you do, even though you don't know any of my politics because I've never told them to you, we've never even had a discussion, I'm the axis of all evil, but a literal or alleged physical abuser is totally fine. See, this is just where it's so ironic where these people talk about community and, being engaged in your community. The thing is, your community is more than just the people who vote like you. You don't know anything about my personal politics. You don't know where we can reach common ground. You don't even have a rational discussion with me before we even cancel my event. But the people defaming me are exactly the same people who say they are more empathetic. Make it make sense. So
it's really disheartening to see this, to be honest with you guys. I don't think people deserve this. I don't think that people should discriminate against people in this way, against their employees. I gotta sneeze. I don't think people should discriminate in this way. Sorry. Future sponsor of the show, by the way, No Shinku, my favorite hand sanitizer. I'll leave a link in the description box below. It's really nice. It's really sleek. It's really skinny. Look at this. Like, look how sleek that is. Look how skinny that is. We love a skinny product, right? Hand sanitizer. Smells great. Looks great in your bag or your purse or your book bag. Good stuff. But back to the video. It disheartens me to see content creators treated like this, or just individuals treated like this, because I know it would be one thing if Matsu was harassing his clients at work while in the middle of Pilates. Give me a 1, give me a 2, give me a 3, go Trump, and a 4. And like, I could see if like he made his whole class about Trump or his conservative Republican backed viewpoints. I could see maybe if that made people uncomfortable and that was against policy, then sure. But this is a particular situation where he has gained notoriety. He's gained notoriety, and people have gone out of their way. They've gone out of their way to try to ruin his life. And it's the same old story that we've always known about left-wing ideology in modern times. It's like, if you can bully people using institutions, they're going to do it. They're going to go full force to cancel you, to take money out of your pocket, to take food off your table, to prevent you from earning a livelihood, earning an income. Like, this is what they do. This is how they censor. When they can't win the argument, they censor. And the censorship goes beyond just getting rid of the platform. They want to punish you, you know? And I think it's despicable. I just think it's despicable. I think that we're better than this. I think it's terrible. And I think coming from the tolerant left, it's just hypocritical. It's super hypocritical. I'm wishing Matsu good luck in this situation. I'm wishing him good luck. Oh, I did find the nightclub. Apparently, so I didn't know this. Let's watch his friend's video together, because there's more to the story. I thought it was just like a Pilates class, but it's like a gay Pilates class. Really interesting. Let's watch that video together. This is his good Judy, his good friend, backing him up and defending him.
My good friend Matsu worked at a gay club in Fresno, California called Splash, and they let him go because of his political views. The interesting part is, he never spoke about politics. Watch the next video.
So, I was just
Okay, so I wanted to just show that to show the club. This is the club, honey. And I will tell you right now, I can comment. I think for a while you couldn't comment on anything. Oh yeah, so the girls are commenting. Some of the girls are commenting. So some of the posts you cannot comment on, and some of the other posts you can comment on, which I find to be really interesting. Yeah, like you can't comment on this post because they're kind of under fire now, because this guy has, 200K followers, I think, on Instagram. Like, he's pretty popular on Instagram or something like that. I don't know. He has a lot of followers. And yeah, it's really unfortunate to see this happening. I'm just really disheartened by it all. I don't believe in cancel culture. And, it's not exclusively a left-wing thing, by the way, because we have the woke right, who quite often indulges in cancel culture. I'm talking about the Israel First section of the right wing. They love cancel culture. They love it. They want to take away your bank accounts. Yeah, they love it. But I denounce it on all levels. On all levels. I think it's socialistic. I think it's a communist type thing. It's a commie thing to do. And I don't think there's any place for that in American politics or American society at all. So let me know what you guys think about this. I did a video about Trump supporters being discriminated against at the Smoothie King, all the way down to bitches can't even get a Smoothie King, can't even get a fucking smoothie anymore. So that's what made me think about this video too. Not only are Trump supporters being discriminated against as customers, but now they're being discriminated against as employees. And I just think that we've fallen really, really, really far if this is what's acceptable in our culture and what's being pushed in our culture. I don't think it's a good thing. But let me know, what are your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation about it. So what do we think? Comment section, what do we think about this? Sounds like the same old liberal bullies at his Pilates. Yeah. Just like the Subway lady who refused to make a sandwich for the guy because he had a Trump shirt. Yeah. It was just announced that the lawsuit about censorship on FB, YouTube, etc. during lockdown was everybody in free speech won, as it should. As it should. Can you give me a link to the announcement of that, Green Tea, in the Discord channel, if you could? Maybe tag me in it, because I'll cover it tomorrow. By the way, Green Tea, if I know you share a lot of stories on on the Discord channel, thank you, because I'm going to start reacting to some of those videos. So the elites love it when they get the people fighting each other instead of looking at them. That part, heavy on that part. Let me read it again. The elites love it when they get the people fighting each other instead of looking at them. Come on now. The girlfriend not talking about Epstein enough. They're not talking about Epstein enough. This war, distraction. Distraction. They're not talking about it enough. Truly, honestly, they're not. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I have a couple announcements for you guys. So last night I debuted merch to sell you guys, and I debuted it on the members only live stream. I do a post show, most lives, and I debuted it last night. David Portillo Davila was there, Leah Bobia was there, so they both saw it, they both loved it. So now moving forward, I need to just make sure that my website where I'm going to be selling the merch is in a presentable stage for me before I go live with it, with the link and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think you guys are going to love the merch. I love the merch. I will be wearing the merch, and I'm just super duper excited to release it. And just know that the more sales I get from the merch, it's going to go back into creating more merch, right? So I only have I have 2 designs, and then one of those designs has two different colorways. But again, the money I make from those sales is going to go towards creating more merch. And I have so many ideas for merch that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. So, and I'm always open to ideas too. So let me know ideas in the Discord channel for merch ideas, because I'll use them. I'll definitely use them. Okay. David says we are basically going backwards because it's getting closer to discrimination against race, age, sex, sexuality, and much more. I agree. David Portillo Davila. It's like, how can you proclaim to be all for DEI and diversity and inclusion and all this shit, but like, is that really a principle of yours, or are you picky choosy about your principles? Are you picky choosy about the races? Are you picky choosy about the paradigms and ideas and ideologies? Are you picky choosy about the color of the skin? Are you picky choosy about their gender? Like, do you hold the same principles and apply it to white men, or do you favor black women? You know what I mean? Like, if you can't apply your principles across the board, then something's wrong, and you need to look within to see, well, where's the disconnect, right? Where's the disconnect? At the time when we should be standing together, we're more divided than we've been in decades. I agree. And I think it started with Obama. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. I agree. Well, guys, we are not going to cover the third story because it's been almost 60 minutes. You know what? I lied. How long is it? It's 2 minutes long. You know what? No, we're going to cover it. We'll cover it. So, last story of the night. It's a clip from the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. Reminder, this is fair use. I'm commenting, I'm reviewing, I am speculating, I am gossiping. Okay, so this is all for the purpose of critique. But yes, today we're going to be talking about this little clip. Now, who is this? This is Dave Rubin not Dave Rubin, Dave Smith. This is Dave Smith. Yeah, this is Dave Smith. Basically versus Adam, I forget, he has a Jewish last name. I can't think of his last name. Adam. His name is Adam. He's from the Patrick Bet David show. Used to watch the show all the time. I think they've become very biased. I don't watch the PBD show anymore. I used to love them and their content. I think they got hijacked somewhere along the way. I'm not sure. I don't know. So sue me. But I still think that some of them individually are pretty cool guys. Even this Adam guy, I think, can be somewhat cool sometimes. But let's watch this clip. This is about Iran, of course, and this is basically going to be Dave Smith torching Adam. Okay, let's watch.
Look, I mean, Piers, if you look at the polls...
Oh, wait. Okay. Let's start it over.
Look, I mean, Piers, if you look at the polls, what the polls tell us is that this is the most unpopular war in American history going into the war. And CNN is going to read you these North Korea numbers. Actually, in fact, I think it was better than Kim Jong-un did in his last election, 100% of MAGA. But what does that really mean? I mean, the truth is, Piers, you kind of nailed it here in your opening, right? Even when Joe Biden was clearly senile and was forced to pull out of his reelection campaign, the majority of Biden supporters still supported him. You know,
and did.
Like, there was still going to be like 40-something% of the electorate would have voted for Joe Biden. Now, that wasn't enough, though, and that's why they forced him out, because you need a coalition to carry you here. So this comes down to like how you're defining MAGA. If you want to say Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and Andrew Schultz and all these guys, they're not MAGA. Well, okay, but they were relevant enough for Donald Trump to go on all of their shows in the campaign. And the point is that the coalition that got Donald Trump elected in 24, that got him for the first time ever to win the popular vote, that coalition has been destroyed. And the final thing I'll say is this, Piers. I made this prediction on my show the other day. But right now, you kind of have these two, broadly speaking, camps, say Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, maybe people like me, who are saying the coalition has been destroyed. And then on the other side, you have people like you played Bacha, Ben Shapiro, who are saying, no, the coalition is fine. What we've learned is that Tucker Carlson doesn't matter. Give it a couple months, Piers, and I promise you, everyone on that side will say the coalition has been destroyed and it's Tucker's fault.
Exactly.
This is going to tank Donald Trump's presidency. We're already past the point of that. The Democrats are going to win the House and the Senate. It's going to be impeachments and subpoenas and investigations for the next 2 years. And I don't think anyone from this administration can win the presidential in 28 at this pace.
No lie was detected there. No lie was detected there whatsoever. I think people forget that the reason Trump had such a valiant win was, one, because Kamala Harris is so fucking terrible, but two, because he was able to strategically get libertarians like me to stop voting third party for this one election cycle and to vote for him. There was a wing of the population that goes back and forth between the two parties, and those are libertarians like me. I tend to vote for third parties, but this was a particular instance where I thought, okay, I saw RFK, I saw Vivek, I saw Elon Musk, I saw a lot of libertarian influence, and not just talk, I saw actions, right? And so that's what somewhat compelled me to forego my third party vote for the libertarian candidate to vote for Donald Trump. And there used to be a reality where I would have perhaps voted for this administration again, you know, given that the things they put in place, such as Doge, would have flourished, but they've done nothing but. All of the promises that we've been made have been gone back on. And like Dave Smith says, the coalition is done. It's kaput, right? He neutered Doge. He spent an exorbitant amount of money in the big, beautiful bullshit bill. You know, like, there's so many things he's gone back on. You know, there hasn't been any arrest. Dr. Fauci, that fucking scammer, is still walking around. There hasn't been any January 6th arrests. There hasn't been any arrests for the Epstein files. There's no fucking arrests. Meanwhile, they're trying to arrest Tucker Carlson. You mean to tell me that there's a higher chance of Tucker Carlson getting arrested before Dr. Fauci? What? Absolutely true. There's a higher chance of Tucker Carlson being arrested than anybody on the Epstein files. What? The administration has been completely co-opted. Listen, and I cannot wait for the Democrats to sweep these elections. I cannot wait for the Democrats to beat the living shit out of these Republicans. I can't wait. I'm going to celebrate. Because these politicians have to be punished. They got to be punished. So anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on that before we head to the members only live stream? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about Dave Smith's predictions? What do you think about his what do you think about his comments and review about the current political landscape and as it relates to Trump and how he's lost complete favor with the coalition that he so expertly built to get him that popular vote? What do you think about that? And do you believe that Trump is a piece of shit pedophile like I do? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Okay. Let's read some comments. It's hard to keep going down this route because the left is going picky-choosy about the family members and friends. Once the foundation is gone, the building will fall, period. Trump pulled one over on the people that voted for no wars, free speech, small farmers, and no big farmer or big agriculture. He did. No lies told. Kamala was awful. People wanted change altogether. So most decided to choose one up and down the government. But after everything that's happened, the pendulum will swing back. And it deserves to. And it deserves to. And I hope bitches go to jail. One thing about Democrats, they're going to put motherfuckers in jail. Okay? One thing about... Listen. One thing about Democrats, they're going to put motherfuckers in jail. Okay? And there's a lot of people from this administration that ought to go to jail. I mean that. Overall, he won because he ran against a black woman. Period. No way people actually believe a failed businessman could run this country better than Kamala. You know, he is a failed businessman. I think people forget that, like, you know what? Failed businessman is a weird thing to say about him because the reason Trump has been successful is because he's been a schemer and a scammer all his life, right? He is a smart man that knows how to work the system. And that is how he was able to be so successful despite filing bankruptcy multiple times, right? But yeah, I think that a lot of what happened is people hate the system, and rightfully so. People hate it because think about it. What are we getting from voting for Democrats all the time, right? I mean, things might be worse now, but there was a lot of apathy, you know, under the previous administration. You know, I don't think people look back at the Biden years and think fondly, oh my God, what a great time. What a great time that was during hyperinflation. What a great time that was for everybody, right? No one thinks that, I don't think, you know. But anyway, we're going to go to the members only live stream. Because it's been 1 hour. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. There's going to be lots of videos coming out over the next several days. I'm thinking and hoping that I can have a new, now that I'm doing this format where I'm covering multiple stories during a given stream, I think I can edit it in a way where I can have a new video come out every day. Bite-sized piece of a video. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Do not forget to like the stream, comment below if you're interested in joining the members only live stream. It's only $1.99 a month. We have a lot of fun. We talk shit. We play video games. We just have a lot of fun. We listen to music. It's a lot more fun than the typical show. More laid back, kick back. But yeah, this is fun. And we will chat soon. See the members soon. Okay?